Ladies and gentlemen, program for today, let me give you a brief rundown. In the first session, we have four presentations. First of all, I request the Ambassador of Pakistan, His Excellency Mr. Jalil Abbas Jilani, for his opening remarks. And after that, there will be a presentation by Defense and Military Attaché of the Embassy, Brigadier Dogar, on Pakistan's Operation Zarb-e-Azab in North Uzbekistan Agency. Then two presentations by Trade Minister and Economic Minister on Pakistan's economic situation and trade and investment potential. And after that, we'll have second session. So first of all, I request His Excellency the Ambassador for his opening remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My very dear friends, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamu alaikum. First of all, let me extend a very warm welcome to all of you to the Embassy of Pakistan today for the first convention of Pakistani American Community CPAC 2014. To be very honest, the day I arrived in Washington, D.C., I had absolutely no doubt that the Pakistani American community plays a very, very important role in partnership with the Embassy of Pakistan to project the image of Pakistan. I was posted here in Washington way back in the 90s, and I know the strength of the Pakistani American community. You are certainly, all of you are the ambassadors of Pakistan. The very fact that you have come from far off places, from California, from Houston, from New York, from Chicago, from Utah, from, you name any place, and you have, almost most of the states in the US are represented here this morning. The basic idea of this convention was to hear from you, to seek your suggestions and inputs, and strengthening the bonds of friendship between Pakistan and the US, and how we can sort of further consolidate this relationship by working together. I can say with full confidence that Pakistan-US relationship are growing at a very positive, in a positive way. 2 years ago, when I was the Foreign Secretary, I have seen the lows in this relationship, and now I am witnessing a high in this relationship. And in this, while we are consolidating our relationship with the United States of America, the community, Pakistani American community, has played a very, very important role. I thought that apart from getting suggestions from all of you, you represent the best of the best in the United States of America. Not only that, the US feels proud of all of you, but Pakistan also feels proud of you. And I thought that it's important to remain engaged with all of you. It's important to brief you on important developments which are taking place in Pakistan. Pakistan, a country of 180 million people, is certainly undergoing a silent revolution. I have absolutely no doubt that every time you visit Pakistan, you see something positive happening in the country. Today, by the grace of God, we have a very strong democracy. It's a noisy democracy, but it is getting stronger by the day. We have a media which is independent media. The courts are extremely independent and playing an extremely positive role in providing justice to the people of the country. Our armed forces are again, they are well equipped to face any challenge, whether an external challenge or the internal challenge. So these are some of the, and also on the economic side, I thought that, it's important for for you to know as to what is going on the economic side, what is happening on the, what the government is trying to do in order to promote education, what the government is trying to do in order to promote human rights, welfare of the women, and what is the kind of a role that the parliament is playing in Pakistan at the moment. To be very honest, when we are gathered here, we are all Pakistanis. And this is how we would like to look at you. Not as Punjabis, not as Sindhis, not as Balochs, Pashtuns. You're all Pakistanis, and this is how we would like to look at each one of you. For us, each one of you is extremely important, and you are playing an extremely important role, not only in the development of the country of your adoption, but also the country of your birth. I can't forget the kind of contribution that you have always made to Pakistan, to the development of Pakistan whenever the country needed you. I will briefly describe that Pakistan, I mentioned that Pakistan-US relations are moving in a very positive direction. Since the last several months, we have been able to revive the strategic dialogue between our two countries. High-level visits between the two countries are taking place on a regular basis. We have established 5 working groups. Working group on economy and finance, working group on counterterrorism and law enforcement, working group on energy, working group on defense cooperation, and working group on nuclear non-proliferation and strategic stability. In recent weeks, we have also agreed to add one more group, working group on education and science and technology. Let me tell you that all these working groups are making excellent progress. On economy and finance, we are getting good cooperation from the United States of America. We have agreed on a plan of action for the next 5 years as to how should Pakistan and the United States of America cooperate in order to strengthen economic and trade relationship between Pakistan and the United States of America. I, myself, my colleagues, and a number of our partners from Pakistani American community, we are also engaged with members of the Congress in order to seek enhanced market access for Pakistani products in the United States of America. Market access means that we are absolutely clear that rather than getting trade, it would be much better in case Pakistan is able to increase its exports not only to the American markets but also to the global markets. Recently, the European Union gave us Pakistan-specific trade concessions. Because of those trade concessions, your economy has begun to look extremely good. Our exports have increased by over $1 billion in the last 1 year to the European market. What we are trying to do is to get similar concessions from the United States of America, and this is what I am making. I'm talking to the members of the Congress on a regular basis, and one idea of getting all of you together, because you all, I know that, are extremely influential not only within the administration, but also with members of the Congress, to emphasize that this is an extremely important talking point for all of us, that Pakistan does not want aid, we want more trade. And this is the slogan on which we would like to proceed. Energy sector, again, it is an area of great cooperation that is being forged between Pakistan and the United States. You will be very happy to note, and we are extremely grateful, that because of the significant contribution made by the US in the energy sector, some 1400 megawatts of electricity have been added to Pakistan's national grid, which is, I think, it's a great thing that is happening in Pakistan. Plus, the number of projects that we have initiated in the last several months, we enjoy tremendous support from the United States. For instance, Dasu hydroelectric project, on which work has already started. The project was approved by the World Bank. It enjoyed the fullest support of the US. We received $1 billion from the US, from the World Bank, and the work on that project has started. Another important hydroelectric project, which is Diamir Bhasha Dam. Again, we are trying to develop that project in partnership with the United States of America. Bhasha Dam, Pakistan and the US, we jointly organized a conference on 8th of this month, 8th of October. It was a widely attended conference. Almost 120 major business entities from the US dealing with hydroelectric project, they participated in that conference. The conference was also attended by a high-powered delegation from Pakistan, including the finance minister, the minister for water and power, Chairman Bapta, and other Chairman Board of Investment and other senior officials. And from the US side, the conference was attended by the senior officials from the State Department, USAID, World Bank, IMF, and other international financial institutions. DASU, on which the work has already started, will give us 4,500 megawatts of electricity. Bhasha Dam that we are going to launch very soon will again add another 4,500 megawatts of electricity, besides creating a reservoir of about 8.1 MAF water capacity, which would be able to provide water to almost 30 million acres of land in Pakistan, and according to many experts, Bhasha Dam is a dam which is also going to bring about a revolution in the country. Defense cooperation, I mentioned, is another important area of cooperation between Pakistan and the United States. We have very strong coordination and cooperation going on between Pakistan and the US. And in the days to come, when the US forces they withdraw from Afghanistan, the bulk of the responsibility to maintain stability on Pakistan-Afghanistan border will rest on Pakistan armed forces. And this is something which is being recognized by the US side, and accordingly our cooperation and coordination is also increasing. Similarly, on nuclear non-proliferation and strategic stability, this is another area of cooperation between Pakistan and the US. And in this area, again, we are having very good discussions. You will be happy to note that the kind of concerns that were previously expressed by some people with regard to Pakistan's nuclear program, or for that matter, with respect to the safety and security of Pakistan's nuclear assets, those concerns are no more there. Recently, in a conference, summit conference which was organized in The Hague, where President Obama was there, Secretary Kerry was there, our Prime Minister, he was there. The Secretary Kerry, in his remarks, said that Pakistan is now a role model in terms of Pakistan's safety and security of its nuclear assets. So I think we have covered a lot of distance. It was only recently that a lot of aspersions used to be caused on Pakistan's nuclear program, but that is not the case anymore. The NTI, Nuclear Threat Initiative, this important, prestigious think tank, has rated Pakistan's, the steps Pakistan has taken, Pakistan's command and control system as one of the best. And again, Pakistan, in terms of rating, Pakistan has been placed ahead of many of our countries in the neighborhood, nuclear power countries. We are certainly now ahead of India in terms of the safety and security of our nuclear assets. As far as the internal, I'm sure that all of you, you have a very strong connection with your country of birth, and you will obviously, naturally, you remain concerned about the developments which are taking place in Pakistan. But let me emphasize to you that a silent revolution has already taken place in Pakistan. Why I say is that the kind of things which have taken place in Pakistan had never taken place in the past. As I mentioned, that democracy is taking strong roots, and there is absolutely no threat to democracy in the country. All state institutions in the country, they are working strictly in accordance with the Constitution, and this is what they are committed to. As far as the government is concerned, the government had 4 priority areas: economy, revival of the economy, energy sector, an end to extremism, education, and promotion of human rights. Briefly, I would like to mention the scorecard. On the economic side, the situation is certainly looking much better. The economy has, in the last 1 year, it has grown from 3.1% to 4.1%. And then per capita income has also improved. Industrial sector growth has also registered a growth of about 23%. Inflation is down, fiscal deficit is also under control, exchange rates are stable, and then the stock market has registered an impressive growth by almost 43%. If you look at the websites of the international rating agencies like Moody's, JETRO, and other important organizations, Moody has upgraded Pakistan's rating from negative to stable, which is, I think, a wonderful tribute to the kind of steps which are being taken by the government in order to promote the economic sector. Goldman Sachs has recently described Pakistan as the next best destination for investments. And I'm sure that when you will be, our colleagues from the embassy will give you a briefing on the current state of economy and also the kind of investment which is taking place in the country. At this point will further be clarified. In order to bring an end to extremism and terrorism, we have launched military operations in North Waziristan. Not only in North Waziristan, but also in the other areas, in the urban centers, against all those extremist elements and jihadi organizations. And today, by the grace of God, not only that our operations have been a great success, a huge success, the armed forces making sacrifices have been able to clear the area, the North Waziristan, by almost 85 to 90%. And the remaining area, remaining 5 to 10% of the area in North Waziristan, I have absolutely no doubt, we feel confident, will be cleared in the next 4 to 6 weeks. So, these extremist elements are on the run, and we have absolutely no doubt that we will bring back the same peace that we used to have a couple of years ago. Pakistanis are a moderate people. Pakistan is a peace-loving country. Pakistan is a peaceful country, and Pakistanis are a peaceful people. So accordingly, we feel very confident that we will be able to. One important factor that as the operations have been launched, you must have noticed that the incidents of terrorist incidents that used to take place in the country a couple of years ago, there has been a marked reduction in those incidents. And today, if you visit Islamabad or Lahore, the hotels are absolutely full because of the large number of investors who are visiting Pakistan. The investment climate is certainly looking much better today, as was the case previously. The government has rationalized the oil prices. The government has rationalized the investment price for oil and gas sector. Previously, we were offering $3 to foreign investors to invest in the gas sector. We have now rationalized the price. We are offering $6. And with this, by doubling the price that we were previously offering to the investors, one sees a large number of people going to Pakistan to invest in oil and gas sector. And I have absolutely no doubt that in the coming months, we will have very good news on this account. On the education side, again, I would say that education, the government plans to double the expenditure on education from the current 2% of the GDP to 4% of the GDP. And I have again, we feel confident that with that kind of an investment, we will have a very good educational, the enrollment is also going to increase, and we will have a much better prospects in the education sector. These developments certainly will take time, but at the same time, the government is cognizant of the fact that the economic development we will not be able to achieve the goal unless we create a conducive regional environment. We are trying to build relationship, promote peace and stability in the region. Our relationship with Afghanistan, they have improved significantly. We have made good contribution for peace and stability in Afghanistan. It is extremely important for you to know that Pakistan played a significant role in the last several months in stabilizing the situation on Pakistan-Afghanistan border, and also in the conduct of which contributed to the holding of peaceful elections in Afghanistan. We enjoy excellent relationship with the new government in Afghanistan. Both the leadership, President Ashraf Ghani and the Chief Executive, Mr. Abdullah, they have conveyed to Pakistan that they want to have a solid relationship. They want to build peace, and the indications that we are getting from the new government in Afghanistan is extremely important. Peace and stability in Afghanistan is important for us because anything happening in Afghanistan continues to cast a negative shadow on Pakistan. 30 years of war in Afghanistan, more than 30 years of war in Afghanistan, has had a devastating effect on Pakistan itself. Our economy suffered. Gun culture, drug culture came into Pakistan because of this. These are the legacies of the war in Afghanistan. We were a peaceful, moderate country. Extremism also came into our country because of the ongoing conflict in Afghanistan. So accordingly, a peaceful Afghanistan is of paramount importance to Pakistan. Pakistan will do everything possible in order to bring about peace and stability in Afghanistan because that is in our best interest. So I have again no doubt that in the coming months we will continue to make efforts to build strong relationship with Afghanistan and also to have a peaceful environment in Afghanistan. Peace in Afghanistan is also important in many other ways. For instance, we have embarked upon a number of regional connectivity projects. regional connectivity projects, whereby we are, number one, we are pursuing Pakistan-China economic corridor. This is a corridor on which the work has already started. This is about 1,800 kilometers long corridor, which would connect Pakistani port of Gwadar with the western part of China, with Kashgar. Not only with road, a road link is being created between Gwadar and Kashgar, but we are also creating a railway link would also be created between Pakistan and China. So accordingly, once this economic corridor is completed, you can well imagine the kind of revolution, the economic revolution it would bring about in the country. Similarly, we have started some other projects. For instance, last week we signed a contract with Afghanistan for CASA 1000. CASA 1000 is meant to bring electricity from Tajikistan passing through Afghanistan into Pakistan. Pakistan will get about 1,300 megawatts of electricity through this project. This is another regional connectivity project that we have. Similarly, we are extending we already have a railway link between Pakistan, Iran and Turkey. We are making efforts to upgrade that link in the coming months. With India, again, our effort is to improve relationship on the basis of sovereign equality. Our history of relationship with India certainly has not been a glorious history. We have had wars, we have had tensions, we have had many issues. The tension that exists between Pakistan and India is mainly on account of the unresolved issue of Jammu and Kashmir, the illegal occupation of Siachen Glacier by India, the non-implementation of the Run of Kutch Tribunal on Sir Creek, water dispute that we have. We are a lower riparian state, India is an upper riparian state, and we have serious concerns with regard to the non-implementation of the Indus Waters Treaty by India. And then, despite these, Pakistan's effort has been to build a peaceful relationship with India. We have reached out to India. Our Prime Minister, if you recall, he undertook a visit to India to participate in the inaugural ceremony. The two Prime Ministers, they agreed to hold the Foreign Secretary level talks on 25th of August. But unfortunately, India called off the talks at the last minute on a very, very flimsy excuse that Pakistan High Commissioner, he had a meeting with Kashmiri leaders. Now, I remember that I have been dealing with Pakistan-India relations for a long time in my service career. I visited India in 2012 as Foreign Secretary, and as was the norm for the last 60 years, that whenever anybody visits, any official visits or any minister visits India, he must have a meeting with the Kashmiri leaders. I also had a meeting with the Kashmiri leaders, but nobody raised an eyebrow because that was the norm that was being followed by Pakistan for the last many years. It is an internationally recognized dispute, and this is how it was being treated. So accordingly, we absolutely don't see any logic behind the cancellation of the talks. This decision by the Indian government, certainly from our point of view, has dented the Indian Prime Minister's image to build stronger relationship with Pakistan. Despite these setbacks, I can assure you that we will continue to make efforts in order to bring about peace and stability with Afghanistan. Recently, I'm sure that you must have concern with regard to the violations on the line of control. It is extremely important for you to understand that at this stage, when half of our troops are deployed on Pakistan-Afghanistan border in order to create a stable situation. A certain number of troops are deployed in Pakistan for internal security duties, and also to provide relief to the recently, to the victims of the recent floods. We can not afford to generate tension on the line of control. That is why we have asked India, we have asked the international community, we have approached the UN Secretary General, we have approached the P5 countries, we have approached the United States government, that this tension is extremely dangerous for Pakistan. This tension on the border is extremely dangerous for India, and there should be an international probe as to who is the aggressor on the line of control. And this is something, and we are very clear that we must this point must be cleared by lastly, I would say that while we have a very strong link with the first generation or the second generation Pakistani American community, and they also maintain a very strong link with their country, of their ancestors or country of their birth. The younger generation, it's extremely important that they should also retain their contacts with Pakistan. We in the embassy, we have launched a number of programs in order to keep the younger generation of Pakistani Americans tuned into the developments and so that they are able to maintain their strong linkages with Pakistan. So accordingly, we have started a number of programs. We have one of the programs is known as the Generation Next Initiative, which focuses on interacting with the young Pakistanis. I remember that Irfan Malik Sahab recently, about 2 months ago, he brought to the embassy about more than 200 children from all parts of the United States of America to the embassy. We spent the whole day with those young leaders of Pakistani law children with us. They were offered lunch, they were offered briefing on the important developments taking place in Pakistan, and also they were shown documentaries about Pakistan and I'm sure that they had a great experience, because the feedback that we subsequently received was extremely positive. We have started another program, which is the Embassy Orientation Program for the Youth, which is known as Understanding Pakistan course, which is again a very good initiative and becoming very popular. Another program that has been launched, that is the internship program for the young students, Pakistani American students during the vacations. And let me tell you that our internship program is a very intense program that we have. In 1 month, the young students who join us at the embassy, we expose them to the official meetings, we expose them to the think tanks, we take them to the think tanks, we prepare, and they are required to prepare reports. After every meeting, like an officer of the Foreign Service would prepare a report and submit it to the seniors, so these children, they were also required on a daily basis to submit a report about an event that they had attended, about a meeting that they had attended. And they were basically rated in accordance with the reports that were prepared. So accordingly, it was a very intense program, it was a very serious program, and I have absolutely no doubt that those who undertook this program, who joined the embassy for this internship program, they went back extremely happy. Once again, I am extremely grateful on behalf of all my colleagues. You are a wonderful people. You are. I know that you have been in the forefront. The idea of giving you this briefing was basically to apprise you as to what was happening in Pakistan, what is the state of Pakistan-US relationship, what is the kind of activities that we have generated in the region, what is happening on the connectivity projects, and what is happening on the, with regard to our outreach program to the community. A couple of things that I thought that may also be brought to your notice, that we have improved the consular services for the Pakistani American community. We have 4 consulates. We have a consulate in New York, we have a consulate in Houston, Chicago, and Los Angeles, besides a consular office in Washington, D.C. And the message to all the consul general from the government was that welfare of the Pakistani American community should be accorded the highest priority. Now, you will be happy to note that we have started this weekend facility just in case of emergency. If anybody needs any assistance, that assistance is provided to them. Plus, the consular, I am happy to note, I am getting a very good feedback about the consul generals. They are all outstanding officers of the Foreign Service. And I'm sure that all of you who have come from the respective areas, you would have noticed a very positive change that is taking place in the consular services being extended by our classmates. Thank you so much.